And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big Sean McCarthy.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, episode 283 of the Weighing In Show with my man Josh Thompson and me ready to talk about Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson. Since there wasn't a whole lot more than one FC, we're going to talk about one FC. We're going to talk about his comeback win, coming back from being knocked out to doing the exact same thing to his opponent. It was a beautiful win. We're going to talk all about that. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing good. Early morning, soccer all day, and this is the life, right? But I've been doing really well. Things are good. How are you?
For me,
yeah,
busy.
Living that farm life, huh?
Dude, I'm working my ass off. I'm tired.
So you watching pigs today?
Oh, I was planting trees, cutting fields, doing the whole thing, man. It's all good.
Chicken coops? You building more chicken coops? Put some we can put Dave in?
Chicken town, baby. I'm making chicken town. I got a full town.
You showed me the last time you and I were together. You were showing me the drone shots of your farm. It's fucking huge.
Yeah,
it's huge.
Pretty big.
I don't know if I want to take care of all that property.
Oh, it's a lot, dude. It's a lot. Sometimes just like I just want to take a day off.
Yeah,
there's no days off.
You do know you're getting older, right?
Someone told me that.
Yeah, someone told you that. Yeah, it's okay to kind of like ease into some retirement.
Yeah, there's no retirement.
That's so messed up, man. Miss McCarthy got you out there, slave labor. Oh, it's rough. I'm surprised she don't have does she have a whip? She crack it too at you every once in a
Dude,
while?
that's my daughter, man. She's the one with the slave labor, man. She's like, dude, free labor, go.
Jeez, ruthless.
Are you painful in places you didn't know you had?
No. You know, it's funny because you just get to the point. It's like it's still hot right now, hot. Yeah. And so it's just, man, you know what? Start sucking down fluids every time I get a chance. I got something. I'm throwing water down. It's just you get used to it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about it. What are you thinking? You thinking with one? What was on your mind as you're watching? Let's talk about the fact that how was your streaming service with Amazon Prime? I thought it was good. I had a couple of glitches early.
Glitches here. Let's talk about glitches when Demetrious Johnson is going to finish his opponent and my TV goes blip. It's like, are you kidding me? Yeah, and that's a problem, and it's not it's not one's issue. They didn't do it, but I swear to you, just as Demetrious was landing that shot, my TV went rump, and Amazon Prime comes up on my screen, and I'm like, I'm not happy, and so by the time I got it back, Demetrious had finished the fight. I was able to go back and see it, but it's like you can't have that, man.
Yeah, and that's not one's fault. That's the streaming service.
No,
that's the streaming service. I had a problem in the prelims during one of the female fights. There was two female fights back to back in the prelims, and I thought I was watching the first one, but it was actually the sound of the second fight. So I was like, wait, she didn't just land a right hand? Like, what's going on? And I was listening to them commentate. So something was going on where they were actually commentating on the fight that was ahead, but for some reason my streaming service was stuck on the fight before. And so that was it. But then after that, it was fine. And that was just, I think they'll get all those details worked out. I think, doing live shows is not easy. And then the streaming it from Singapore,
especially when it's coming from that far.
Yeah,
there is time, delays and everything, so it's not an easy thing.
Overall, I like the clarity of the show. Seemed good. Like there was somewhat of a little bit of the WWE shtick to it. You know how they walk the belt down in a suitcase.
Yeah,
it was a little too much for me. Like that's something I was expecting. What's that?
The Toomey case.
Yeah, it was in the Toomey case. I was like, But Dave, it reminded me of WWE. What's that thing where they have the money in the bank? It kind of reminded me of that a little bit. So it was, to me, it was a little cheesy, but I think what you have to remember is that, look, in Japan, very similar, that they like that over-the-top stuff. They like that presentation. Pride used to kind of do that, the graffiti, the big walls, with the how Bellator does it too with the screens, all that type of stuff. Pride had the best walkouts.
Oh, yeah.
Their
presence dressed up as a ninja. Pride?
No.
My whole thing is this, and one's got a great product, and they've got some great fighters, especially in the lighter weight categories, and they mix things up because they're putting on Muay Thai fights, and they're putting on submission grappling, and they're putting on MMA all in the same card and everything. So they've got their own niche. They really do. Quit trying to copy other promotions. There's no reason for it. I saw their opening was very Pride-like, and nothing wrong with that. It was great. No. But then they have the things that remind you of that's the UFC, and so you don't need that, man. You are one. Have your own thing. I thought the belt thing was kind of funny, but it's all right. They kept 26-pound belt. It's like, okay. 26-pound belt.
Well, I'm going to give them on terms of what they did that way. I'm going to give them a little bit of a pass because they wanted to make it such a big deal for their first big show on Amazon Prime or Amazon Video, whatever. So whatever they did on this show, they made it go over the top, and that there's a huge crowd there. I think that's going to be hard too for American fans to kind of pay attention to, because it seemed like there was no one there, because that's kind of the culture. In terms of the Asian culture and watching fights, they're not very loud.
No,
they're loud for like certain parts of the action, and then they go back to being quiet. They go back into watching the fight. So, I think that's going to be a little bit more difficult for people at home. Going, oh, it's dead there, isn't it? Because the way that they lit it up too, you couldn't see into the crowd. It's super dark. All you saw was the little white lights because people were videoing it. So that's kind of what you saw. I think that I'm going to give them a little bit of a pass on what they did. I understand what you mean by they were they tried to be UFC like in the $50,000 bonus. That presentation in the you just won 50. That was a little much for me. It came across very scripted.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't like, if you want to give them a bonus, give them a bonus.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Talk about it later. Yeah, I think it's wonderful, but yeah, that was a little strange to me.
But it was funny they brought Herb over because they wanted that, they wanted the American viewer to have that correlation, and I actually thought that was a smart idea.
Yeah, it was. I think it was too. They need to have at least one good ref over there. It's like, no, but it was. I thought. Look, the fights delivered. John, that main card was pretty damn good, and I know that there was a lot of kickboxing. With the MMA gloves. I like that. I like it a lot more than the bigger gloves.
I like it too. I'm not saying anything about it, but the matches tend to be a little one-sided. And it's just, that can happen.
Yeah.
But when it happens repeatedly on your card, it's like, you're kind of pushing things, and, there was some certain fights, if you understand Muay Thai and you knew who you were looking at, you went, this is not a good matchup.
Yeah.
But they got what they wanted. They got the knockouts, and that's good.
Yeah, that's what they need. I thought the presentation was good. It was a little big, but I said for the first show, you want it to be a big deal on Amazon Prime. You want it to be. You want to let everyone know, hey, we're here now. I think they've got they signed a 7 or 8 show deal with them.
I don't know what it is.
I believe it was 7 or 8 shows on Amazon Prime. So I like the fact that it made it so much more easier to watch.
It's made it much easier to watch ONE FC, which is good. I don't care what it is. If it's, UFC, PFL, ONE FC, the easier it is for fans to watch, the better it is for everyone, because you're getting great MMA from a different organization. And I love the fact that they're different.
Yeah.
I think that they need to stand up on that. We're different.
Yeah.
Don't take from, other promotions and be a copy of certain things. Dude, stand on your own, man. You've got a great product.
They do. They do have a good product. I think because they're willing to do things that the other organizations are not.
Yeah.
They'll have grappling matches. They'll have.
I love that.
Yep. I mean, if you guys don't recall, there was a grappling match between Fedor and Aoki a long time ago.
Fedor and Gegard.
Was there a grappling one with Fedor and Gegard also? Yeah. Okay, I don't remember that one. I do remember the Aoki one because Fedor they were wearing the gi tops when they did it. But yeah, it was a very fun. Those are things that are just fun.
Yeah,
I like that. And I think if they can do that and get fans to know who these fighters are, and then get them to do those type of things, I think you have something that no other organization has.
Exactly, and that's why I say, man, you really have. And the thing that I look at ONE and go, here's where ONE FC stands apart, is they have MMA, they have Muay Thai. They have submission grappling. They have Muay Thai with regular boxing gloves. They have Muay Thai with the MMA gloves. It's different. It's awesome. Yeah. Man, stand on that. That's great.
Yeah, I think we're going to find out how much growth they're going to have here in the States, how much people will talk about them. There's going to be a lot of excitement for the next, 2 or 3 shows, but will the nostalgia wear off after, for a little bit? But then I think they're going to have some stars that are going to rise up out of this. Because in those lower weight classes, John, like you said, they're fucking good.
Yeah,
they are extremely talented. And speaking of the lighter weight class, they're fighting the bantamweight, but they're really flyweights. But they're walking around bantamweights, you know what I mean? So
no, sorry. Adriano Moraes is not walking around as a bantamweight either.
He's a big guy.
Jesus Christ, dude. It's like, really?
I want to know how they do with their weight cutting situation. Like, I don't understand. Something's not right. No. I got to figure it out because I want to go over there and have a conversation with either Rich or Matt Hume and figure out what they're doing because it seems a little weird. How is Moraes so much bigger?
You cannot have a size disparity like you saw with Demetrious and Moraes and go, yeah, they're both in the same weight class. Yeah. It's just not.
They should have never brought them together in the middle of the cage because I was like, oh wow, this is not.
It's not only height. It's not only length, it's muscular size.
Yeah.
I mean, he's much bigger than Demetrious. And it's like, it looks like you have a 125er against a 145er. And it's like, and you could see for a while, Demetrious was getting muscled around.
Yeah.
And the fight changed and he took it over. But I'm gonna flat out say it. Demetrious is just a much better fighter than Moraes. He's better. If they fight 10 times, I'm taking DJ 9 of them. Okay? It's not that Moraes is not a good fighter. He doesn't have the skill set the same as Demetrious. He can't change things up the same way. And he's being elusive throughout it. And when you have a smaller guy like DJ starting to hunt you down and walk you down, and you're that much bigger, that's saying something about who's technically a better fighter.
I don't know if I'm going to stretch it that much. I think DJ's the better fighter. I agree with you, but Moraes is really good.
I didn't say he's not good.
Yeah, he's
not as good as he's just not. He doesn't have the skill set that Demetrious does. Let's be honest. A lot of people don't have Demetrious.
I was going to ask you. I was saying, John, you want to name those guys that have more than he does?
I agree.
There's probably one. His name's Henry Cejudo, and that's it. I think that's it. I think all the guys in the UFC right now at 125, he would smoke all of them. I think he'd have a hard time with Henry, and that'd be it. I think he beats Davison Figueiredo. I think he beats him. I think he beats Moreno.
Brandon Moreno?
Yeah, I think he beats Brandon Moreno. The rest of them below that, I don't even really. Those are just the top 2 guys,
Yeah.
I think DJ would mop the rest of them as well. I think he would always have a hard time with Henry just because of the speed of Henry and the wrestling abilities of Henry. His submission defense, that type of stuff. But Adriano Moraes is good. He's long. He's lanky. He's got good stand up. You could tell, and after the first 2 rounds, he started to slow down. DJ started finding the timing and the rhythm, and like you said, was able to start pushing him backwards. In the first 2 rounds, DJ wasn't able to push him backwards. DJ was on his back foot. Yeah. But DJ did a lot of great things with the knees up the middle, knees in the gut, in the clinch, did some good work. The short little choppy elbows that he was landing from the bottom as well they did a lot of damage. Ton of damage.
A lot of damage.
So as the fight went on, you could see that Moraes started feeling, wow,
started feeling the effects.
Yeah, I'm getting hit with these little things, but they're bothering me.
Yeah.
You know, and he's not even breathing heavy. There's a lot of things that goes through a fighter's mind. Like, I'm over here trying to pass guard, couldn't pass his guard, couldn't get to a dominant top position, couldn't muscle him into the Darce and the Anacondas and the submission in the choke. DJ bought back up to his feet. He couldn't hold his head in place to knee him in the head like he did in the first fight. There was just things that he couldn't do because DJ was hip to the game now.
Yeah.
And DJ went back home and figured out exactly what he needed
to do. Did his homework.
He did his homework. He's always been his fight IQ is probably one of the best, if not the best. In the game.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, he's absolutely fantastic. So, but I'm gonna say that Moraes is, I would say top 5 or 6 flyweights, bantamweights, whatever it is. I mean, he's a stud. He's a stud. He's very talented. I think I'd love to see him against any of the other bantamweights in the world, whether it be Bellator or UFC. I'd like to see how he matches up.
Bantamweights?
Yeah, you don't think he's making? You don't think
he's not going to make flyweight?
No, I don't think he's going to make flyweight. No, he can make 35 though. But overall, I thought it was a good fight.
So hold on, let's be honest here, because that's really, if you're going to say he's a bantamweight, which I don't agree. I don't think he's a bantamweight either. I think he's a featherweight.
I think he can make bantamweight though.
Okay, so if he makes bantamweight, so who's he going to beat? Top 5. Top 5. You said he's top 5, so top 5 in the UFC. Who's he beating?
Let's see. Pull up the top 5, Dave, for me. Top 5 for bantamweights. Who are the bantamweights there in the UFC?
You don't know that by heart.
You got some killers, dude.
You got Peter Yan.
So is he beating Peter?
No.
Okay.
He's not, I don't think he's beating. I don't think he's beating Peter. I don't think he's beating.
He's not beating any of those guys.
Maybe Corey Sandhagen.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me! Have you lost your mind?
He could take Corey down.
Oh my god,
he could take Corey down. He's tall. Long,
Corey Sandhagen would smoke him.
You're so mean, John.
I'm not mean.
Did you wake up on the negative side of the bed today?
I did not. I look at it, and here's my problem. I look at this, and I saw a fight with 2 different sized fighters, and it had an effect in the beginning of the fight, and eventually the technique of the better fighter took over, but it had an effect on that fight in the beginning.
Okay, Mr. Negative Nancy over here today.
Okay, I'm Negative Nancy.
I'm just being like, John, it was a good fight. They brought it. Both of them brought it. They were evenly matched, and until DJ started to figure out the solution to the size. Started figuring out the solution to
why does DJ have to figure out a solution to the size?
Well, I mean, this the length of his body. I mean, like having to deal with
the length of his body because he can weigh 145 fucking pounds.
I don't know what he actually came in at. He just looks big. He's one of those, like Corey Sandhagen looks big.
No, Corey looks thin.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look at. I'm being honest. Moraes has muscle. He's got a big chest. He's got a big shoulder girdle. He's got big arm. I mean, take a look. He's solid.
Maybe
he's
his
got
bones
thin
are
legs.
hollow. Maybe his bones are hollow. I don't know.
You're right. He's a good fighter, but at bantamweight, I don't think that he's beating some of the guys that you're talking about. Said putting him in the top 5, but maybe he would.
Not top 5. Okay,
maybe he would.
Maybe he's not top 5. Okay, let's say he's top 10 though.
Okay,
you give him top 10. Will you give him top 10?
Yeah, I'll give him top 10.
Okay. I mean, he had a good I think he beats Dominic Cruz. No, he doesn't.
Wow.
I don't know. He doesn't.
It's like, man.
But you have to remember that he beat DJ, so you got to give him some clout.
He did. He beat, like, there's no doubt he beat DJ. And that's what happens when different rule sets and things, and you're not quite accustomed to all the things and stuff. But look, nothing against him. He is a good fighter. You're absolutely right. I'm not saying he's not. That size difference and whatever one is doing with their weigh-ins, there's got to be something better to put them in that category.
Do you think there's a little bit of that tomfoolery going around like it is that Pride used to be? Remember, because I remember when I weighed in to fight Daisuke Sugie, whatever it is, the Amazon kid.
Yeah,
he didn't make weight. I'm like, how is this guy making weight? He's fucking shredded and huge. And I was like, there's no way he made weight, dude. Yeah. And then somebody else on the card too fought. I want to say it was the guy that fought Phil Baroni, and he didn't make weight either. Because you could tell they step on the scale. The guy steps off, steps on the scale, guy steps, doesn't take anything off, doesn't do anything, but all of a sudden he's on weight. It's like, what the fuck? What happened? He stepped on and stepped off and then stepped back on, and now he's on weight? Are you serious?
He's good.
Gosh. It's like, come on. Anyways. No, but I'm excited to see what's next for DJ. I mean, I don't know how many guys that they have. Are they going to start doing... Like for DJ, are they going to start having him do the like those type of gimmick fights? Because I don't know how many. I know they got a lot of good guys, but they're going to have him start doing, where he fights a Muay Thai guy now. He
did that before. He did where he did the 1 round of Muay Thai, 1 round of MMA. Mm-hmm. I don't have a problem with that if that's what Demetrious goes. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, great. Yeah. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
I just don't think that it's right that I'm watching Demetrious Johnson have to fight someone that is clearly a bigger fighter than he is.
Interesting. You're just biased because you like DJ.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, John. All right. Overall, though, let's talk about the finish. Beautifully set up. Straight right. Straight right or straight left? Yeah, straight right. Hit the straight right, then walked him backwards, sat him to his butt, came as he was stumbling backwards. What I loved, John, was this.
Beautifully timed knee.
It was perfectly timed what it was. He didn't rush it.
Yeah, exactly.
He tracked after him, and he waited to the moment when his back hit the fence to where he knew he couldn't go anywhere, and then threw the knee up the middle.
Absolutely.
So nicely done.
Yeah.
A lot of guys would have ran and rushed it.
Exactly. And that is exactly when you're talking about the experience and the fight IQ. You watch what Demetrious does as far as tracking that movement as you see Moraes falling backwards. He's just tracking, looking, and he sees that cage, and all of a sudden, boom, up comes that left knee, perfectly timed to where it hits right as his head is coming up against that cage. You couldn't ask for anything better. But that's exactly, the left knee is what put DJ away in the first fight, and the left knee puts, Moraes away on this one. They're going to end up having a third. They're going to end up having another fight.
I wonder if they're going to make the weight class a little bit closer. I think that they're definitely going to have a third fight. Are they going to do an automatic rematch, you think?
I don't know if it'll be right away, but I think that the rematch will come. It might not be the next fight for Demetrious.
It's been 16 months, right, since they fought last time?
Yeah.
Isn't that what they said?
Yeah.
I remember we were all watching that fight in a hotel in Connecticut.
That's right.
At the Mohegan Sun.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I mean, DJ gets the title at 1. Great performance by him. Very patient. He showed his fight IQ throughout the whole fight. He really let Moraes just kind of not really blow his wad pretty much. Let him fight his fight, stayed safe, chipped away at him the whole time, and then in the third round, you started seeing him take over. He started pushing Moraes around, started piecing him up a little bit, started making him fight off of his back foot, started doing stuff that was very creative.
He mentally started to break him down. Yep. Not that I'm not saying that Moraes broke.
No.
But he was struggling.
Yeah. Because
everything turned on him, and the fight turned in 180 degrees where where he was being successful, he couldn't even get on track again. And Demetrious was putting a pressure on him that he was uncomfortable with. It was a beautifully executed fight, game plan, structure, everything that you're expecting from a guy that you look at and you go, he's one of the best fighters that's ever done it.
Yep. Would you put him ahead of John Jones?
You know, it's so hard to say comparatively, you know, to sit there and say the one thing that I know about, you know, Demetrious has been clean his entire life. Yeah. That would be the reason that I would say possibly. Yeah. You put him ahead of you put him ahead of GSP?
Yes. Oh, okay.
I would.
Interesting. All right. Yeah, I understand. What you're saying. Okay.
Take a look at the streak.
Yeah. Look at the streak.
Incredible.
And the guy that he did end up losing to was Henry Cejudo, who goes up and fights at 135. He becomes champion there.
And you say,
gold medalist.
And you say, yeah, he lost to him. It was razor close. Could have gone either way.
Yeah, it was a close fight. It was a good fight, too. I'm surprised that the UFC didn't keep that to run it back again because they had fought twice.
Well, I think there was a lot of other things going on.
Yeah, I gotcha. All right, well, hey, that's going to wrap up on the main event, but let's talk about the next fight on that card. Let's see here. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Well, if you're talking MMA, you know, there was kickboxing. And
yes, there was.
Nongo looked fantastic. Beautiful leg kicks for the win. But if you're going to say MMA, it was Marcus Buchecha Almeida taking on Kirill Grashenko. A lot of things going on with Buchecha in this, and you got to give him credit for staying with it, keeping the fight. Not an easy thing to do. He had someone that was very close to him in Leandro Lowe who was taken, and that's not an easy thing to deal with your training and stuff. But I think that one is doing a good job with Almeida. I think that they're giving him the opponents that are the right opponents at the time. They have some guys in there, and Alec Bari is one that could be a problem for him. And so they're not just putting him in there against someone like Amir. They're putting him against the right guys. He got the takedown, and the takedown was not good. I'm just going to, it did not bode well
horrible.
for
John. It was horrible.
Okay. It did not bode well for a good double leg, but it does show that, look, when he hits the ground, he doesn't just sit there, and he did a beautiful job entwining a leg right to the heel hook, boom, gets the tap, and hey, that's what fighting's about. And he did it under, some duress, some mental duress as far as, what occurred and stuff. So these are the things that you've got to overcome as a fighter. Not every day is going to be your day where everything is good and you're feeling great. I'm sure he was, hurting inside and still went out, performed, got a first, almost first minute submission. You can't ask for anything more. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing right now. He's a young fighter.
Yeah, he's young in fighting, but he is next level on the ground.
Oh yeah.
So just getting him comfortable on the feet in his transitions also to the ground is going to take some time, and they're doing a good job of making sure they work around that. But if you were to put him against someone like Amir Al-Akbari, he'd have a hard time. Takedowns, he would be getting hit with big shots. I don't know if he's not ready for it now. I know that, but it's going to take him some time to get to that fight.
Yeah,
I'd say at least another 3 or 4 fights.
But he was rocking the BJ Penn-Ruka shorts.
Yes,
I love
he
that.
was. He's a good guy, man.
Yeah.
Buchecha's a good guy, and like you said, he was very close with Leandro Lowe. They were training partners.
Yep.
They'd compete against each other a couple times. Just really good guys, both of them. But they're funny together too. They were funny together, and I think it was when you're dealing with something like that with someone you've known pretty much half your life, and they're no longer there, and there's a lot going on. There's a lot of fighters, a lot of grapplers are going through a lot of hard times because just to think like, oh, I was just competing against him 2 months ago, or oh, I just I was just training with him, last week. There's a lot that goes through those people's minds when they're getting ready to compete again. They show up to tournaments. He's no longer there. sad. It truly is sad.
This is the whole thing, Josh, is, people need to understand. That's why you live your life every day, because nothing is guaranteed to any of us. And God knows Leandro did not deserve what occurred. It was a tragedy. It's horrible, but nothing's guaranteed, man. Yeah. You get chances, take them, do things, enjoy life. Don't let things pass you by. You never know.
True. Good job by Buchecha. Nice work. But this heavyweight fight, though, Amir Alakbari and how do you say his last name?
Cirilli. Yeah.
John, I'm going to be honest. These two guys were fucking slinging it.
Oh, yeah.
They were slinging it. Now, Amir can wrestle. He's a fucking damn good wrestler. Yeah. But he was letting the hands go. He was taking some shots. He was delivering the shots. It was a good fight. It was a good fight. And I thought for a moment that Amir was getting tired, going in towards the middle of that second round. I was holy shit.
It's not that, you thought. No, he was.
He was.
Did get tired.
Well, Cirilli, though, looked like he was the fresher fighter until he got taken down and then got crucifixed and then smashed. Yeah. But he was looking good on his feet as he was coming back a little bit, and Amir was almost taking a breather halfway through that second round. But, John, I got to be honest. When they put together their card, they put together a card where I think they knew they were going to get a lot of good fights in terms of excitement.
Finishes.
They put together finishes. But they also, they're using guys like DJ's name. They're using guys like Buchecha's name to bring in, the casual or just the jiu-jitsu teams to watch, whatever it was. But this was a really good fight. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching the two heavyweights. They were gunslinging. There was some good techniques in terms of on the takedowns and the wrestling and the control, the mat returns, working his way past guard into the crucifix position a couple times. He did it he did it in the first round as well. He had some good performance. He had a good performance, and I really liked the fight. That was one of my favorite fights on the card.
I thought Amir actually coming off of not performing the way that you expect him to.
Yeah.
He came out. He fought a guy that was not backing off of him, not afraid of him, and he had to go out and he had to perform, and he did. And I give him credit for what he did. He got to that crucifix twice, and when he got to the crucifix, Mauro Cirilli had no answers on how to get out of that. It was not, something that he was comfortable with. And so good win by Amir.
Good. What about the other two fights there, John?
I love the Hirata versus Lin fight. I thought that was the one that that was an entertaining fight. Hirata was getting her leg torn up. Did you see her leg in that thing? I mean, She was just inside and outside on it, man. Lin was all over it. But Hirata stayed with it, and it was that whole thing. She was looking to finish the fight. That's what I always think that's what you should be looking at, is who's going to win the fight. And then she landed a big shot right at the end, and she got the decision. She should have. I thought it was a great win for someone that took a lot of abuse, especially on that leg. But you know what? She hung tough. She was nasty. She stuck with what she was good at, and then actually landed, because she's not great with the stand-up. She's much better with her grappling, but landed the big shot right at the end. That I think, that's what won her the fight. So,
what's with the catch weight?
I don't know. I really don't. I don't know why they did it, but instead of 120 pounds, it's like.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, overall, it was a good fight. Like you said, Hirata being the better grappler, but not really all that great on her feet. But she's a dog. So, I know you guys are gonna give me a hard time.
She's actually a very, very nice looking, young lady. But
yes. What about the other fight?
Dude, what a uppercut knockout! I mean, Katastam just lit. Dude,
I don't think I've ever seen someone get knocked out like that by an uppercut. That clean,
man. Yeah, I mean, Lepicus. What are you gonna? Anyone can get caught with it, but goddamn, it was a beautiful shot. So,
just right up the middle.
Here's what I look at, and you look at, Yuri Lepicus is a guy that fought Eddie Alvarez.
Yeah.
155-pound fighter. This is 189-pound catch weight. This is where the weights just are like, it's all over the place.
Yeah. You've got to set a you've got to set.
You gotta have a
I understand
standard.
doing. Yeah. I get it. But you know what? Bellator does a lot of catch weights sometimes.
Yeah, I don't like those either.
It's like, why kill yourself when you just fight up the weight class? Like, just call it 170.
See, I don't have a problem if both people are, we'll say, 155-pound fighters. Mm-hmm. And they both say, hey, you know what? I don't feel like losing weight at all. I'm 174. The guy says, yeah, I'm 175. All right, let's do a 175 pound. Okay. If it's not a championship fight, I don't care. That's fine. Yeah. But when I know of a guy that has been fighting at a lower weight class and all of a sudden he's 40 pounds above what is the weight class that you kind of figure that he's fighting at, it's like, damn. I don't know.
Yeah. That's what happened with Peter Queally and Ryan Scope.
Yep.
Ryan Scope hits up Peter Queally like the day before, or at the Wednesday. It was a Wednesday, and they were fighting on, I think, Friday. He goes, hey, do you mind? He's like, do you want to cut the weight? He's like, how much you weigh? And he's like, oh, I guess they were both stepping in to the scale area to check their weights, and they were both kind of around the same weight. And he's like, hey, do you want to just call it this? He's like, yeah, sure. So they both agreed. Yeah. But then when someone does that to me makes me feel like,
see, you think you're getting cheated. You feel like, oh, I've got you.
Mm-hmm. You're mentally already broken. You can't even make the fucking weight, or you don't want to make the weight. You're already quitting. So, John, I thought that the card was good. I liked it. But there's another fight that we had talked about last week, which is Christian Lee and Oak.
Oh, yeah.
That was a fantastic performance by Christian Lee.
Boom. Man, you talk about a guy that you've watched since, I've watched him since he was 17 years old.
Yeah.
He's now 24. That's 7 years. Okay. And man, just looking at him when the fight, he comes out and everything, I'm looking at him going, God damn, Christian Lee's grown up, man. I'm used to looking at that thin teenage kid, and I go, he's a man now. Look at, and it showed, and man, he had power. He snapped Oak's head back with just jabs. He made him look like a Pez dispenser at times. His head was snapping back there. There was candy popping out. I mean, everything he threw, he was touching him with power. Oak was he was a full second behind in that fight throughout the 2 rounds that it took. And man, he just was eating big shots. I don't think Christian got hit more than 3 times in that entire fight. And he had chances to take it to the ground, did not want to. Was just lighting him up on the feet, and then the knees on the ground, to the head. Beautifully done. That's a great way to finish the fight. He's the champ again, and look, Christian Lee can fight with anyone. The kid is a stud. Now he's not a kid. The man is a stud.
I like him. I like that he came out and it seemed like every time he touched Oak was,
he hurt him,
stumbling or hurt or tripping over his own feet because he was rocked, whatever it was.
Yeah.
He was just like, look, I got your number. I'm not going to let you push me around. I've got you. And it was a very impressive performance.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to what he has coming up because he's somebody they could really piggyback on and ride up into the glory land. He's good looking, speaks well. Believes he lives in Hawaii. Yep. He's got a following, but he's very talented. His sisters both fight. They're both really good. I just think that there's something there. So it's up to one to really promote the shit out of this young man.
Yes.
Because I'm looking at this picture right now of him on SureDog, and he looks like he's 4.
Yeah, it's true.
But then like the man that I saw in that cage,
because that's the kid that you watched when he started fighting, and you go, that's Christian. Not anymore.
No.
Yeah, he looks like a man.
Yeah, he's filling out. What's your take on the knees?
I love it.
I wish we could do them.
I love it. Yeah, look, I've said it forever. It's not going to change here in the States, but it is an absolute
What do you
truly effective. What's that?
What do you mean it's not going to change in the States? How can one come to the U.S. and do shows?
Go ahead.
I'm asking. No, I'm not arguing with you. I'm asking you. How do they come? Because there's talk that they're supposed to be here next year.
Yeah.
How are they going to come to the States and implement their rules?
They can come, and there can be a regulatory body that goes, okay, but it's not going to be part of what the ABC and the unified rules is part of. That ain't going to happen. So I wish it would, but there's too much liability associated with it. Let's be honest, Josh. How many times have you seen a fighter get hit with a knee to the head and act like, oh my God, my life is ending. I may die right here in front of everybody when they're not hurt.
We're giving out Oscars these days.
Okay.
I know someone that just won one and a belt with it.
We see that time and time again when it comes to knees on the ground. So right away, athletic commissioners are like, oh my God, those are horrible, horrible. You can watch in one and you'll see, and we used to watch it in Pride, guys that get hit by a knee and, get themselves out of trouble and just continue to fight because they knew, oh, I can't, just act like that hurt me and they're going to give me time and give me a win. So the problem is there will be fighters who, if they switched it over and they said, okay, we're going to allow knees to the head, and then the fighter gets knocked out, they're going to go after the promotion. They're going to go after the regulator. They're going to go after everyone saying, I was physically harmed by the new rule set. You, for 20 years, said that this was dangerous, and now I fought under it and I got hurt, and they're going to get some lawyer that's going to sue, and that's why they won't do it. They will not open themselves up to the liability of it.
Wow.
I wish they would, but it's not going to happen.
That's always been one thing that I felt like we should have always allowed was knees to the head on the ground.
I tried in the beginning. Trust me. I was told.
You
John,
told me
shut
a
up.
story. Yeah.
What's that?
You Lorenzo, right? Lorenzo and you had a conversation like, John, you've got to concede something.
Yep.
To make them feel like they know what they're doing.
To
Like they're
make
in charge.
them feel like they're getting things the way they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
But yeah.
Like the dumbass 12-6 thing,
Oh,
right?
Jesus Christ.
The 12-6 elbow is the most ridiculous rule ever. So ridiculous.
Yeah, but then you'll get people that are big time in the sport that'll say, oh my God, that's horrible. That should never be allowed.
Yeah.
So.
John, is there any other fights on this card you want to talk about?
Pull that
Slow
up
down,
real
man.
quick. Yeah, there was, you got to give it up for Kai Tang. Man, I'll tell you what. Ton Lee, man, he was the champ. He went out, he fought that fight. Kai Tang is one of those guys, you talk about a guy that, he is hard to touch. He is so fast. He moves so well. I thought that Lee was going after him, trying to be offensive. He just wasn't able to, touch him enough. And you got to give it up to the skill level and the stand up, just technique and expertise of Kai Tang. The guy's special, and he's going to be hard for anyone, that's going to match up with him, because he can sit back and he can just, move in and out. He's very elusive. I give Lee credit, man. He went after him for the whole 5 minutes of the fight, 5 rounds. Wasn't able to touch him a whole bunch. A lot of people are going to say, well, but he was the guy trying to, really end the fight. You had to give it to Tang in the fact that, look, he landed the more effective shots. He just didn't put a whole lot of volume on him. He just waited until he was able to touch him and get out of there and not get hit. But they've got a real winner in Kai Tang. They got a guy that guy can fight, man. Stand up wise, we'll see what happens with the ground.
Yeah.
When someone gets him down, but stand up, that son of a bitch is good.
People think when you think, oh, just a Muay Thai guy. Muay Thai guys are really hard to take down.
Yeah.
Their hip control, the ability to judge you on the takedown with
Their
the knees.
clinches are freaking great. Their foot sweeps are great.
So if you think that, it's so funny because John Fitch went out to Thailand And he's like, yeah, this guy was only like 125 pounds. He's like, I couldn't get that fucker off of me. He's like, he was hanging on my head. He's like, he was putting his feet up on my hips. He's like, I could have slammed it. He's like, and every time I went to throw him down,
like a monkey on me, man.
Yeah, he just put his feet to the ground and popped back up. He's like, man, it was horrible. So I just think, like, people think like, oh, you just take the Muay Thai guy down. No, it's not as easy as you think. It's not as easy as you think. So
it is not easy.
all right, well, hey, that's going to wrap up our 1FC talk, and this is their first show, John, on Amazon Video, Amazon Prime, Amazon Video, and I thought overall they went a little over the top, but a little bit. I expected that because this is
I just want them to be yourself.
Because they have a great product.
Yes, they do.
They do, and they're unique in that they're going to do things that other promotions are not going to do.
Exactly,
and so that's what makes them fun. And so I'm excited to see where they really go with this because they've got a lot of top-level jiu-jitsu guys that they signed to do grappling matches and maybe even eventually work into some sort of, MMA career. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to being able to watch them now, and not at 3 in the fucking morning. So I'm excited. I'm excited. I think for people at home, though, if you guys are watching it, there's a couple things you have to remember not to expect. Is don't expect the wild, crazy-ass crowds. They are not that way. Don't let that take away from the product that they're presenting you. They have a good product. They've got good fighters. They're entertaining. And John and I have said, sometimes sure the fights are one-sided, but look, being one-sided and being good fights, you've got to separate them.
Yeah.
There was some great fights, even though it seemed like it was one-sided, but it was the combinations that were done that lets you know that both fighters are really good.
Yeah.
Just one was the better fighter.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how the fight game goes. But I'm excited. I'm really excited because I enjoy the Muay Thai with MMA gloves. I really enjoy it. Because they can't just cover and parry and block. I fucking love it.
Yeah.
There was a beautiful kickboxing fight right before the main event. The guy hit him with the fucking right hook and then came up with the head kick. And I was like, holy shit. He dipped right in. He hit him with the right hook. He was already out. As he was going down, he hit him with the shin kick right across the face. Just shin to the dome, as Rogan would say.
Oh, yeah.
It was fucking awesome. So, good stuff. I'm looking forward to their next show. Dave, do we know when their next show is?
I want to say it's
September 29th, right?
Yeah.
I think it's September
29th to 30th or something like that, yeah. At least the one on Prime.
September 29th.
Yeah, September 29th.
Yeah.
Good job, Dave.
Right on top of it.
Well, I mean, I said it 16 times. I said it, so maybe you heard, huh?
I think you said like September 26th.
Yeah, September 29th. Come on. All right, well, hey, that's going to wrap up our 1FC talk. And Dave, what do you got for us, man? There's some news, some things dropping.
We got fights, we got news. So let's talk about announced fights, and then we'll get into some just kind of opinions on things. So the first fight is Kevin Holland versus Daniel Rodriguez. It's a catchweight bout on the Nate Diaz Chimaev card. And I'm wondering if the catchweight, so I did scour high and low for this. I've not been able to find the weight that has been declared for this fight. I'm wondering if it is 170 since Kevin Holland's fighting at 185 right now. I know he has fluctuated in the past, but maybe it's like a potential replacement if something happens with the Nate Diaz Chimaev fight. I mean, I don't know, but maybe it is. They're high on Holland. I don't know. Anyway, we have this fight announced.
Yeah, I don't understand the catchweight. Holland's at 170 now. He said he's clear.
He's been at 170.
He's been at 170 now for I think at least one fight. Last two fights.
Yeah.
So he's at 170. So maybe it's Rodriguez at coming. Couldn't get his weight down in time. I don't know. They just added this, and this fight's coming up, isn't it?
Yeah, It's like 2 weeks.
Yeah, so
a week and a half.
I don't. Maybe I'm just being honest. Maybe they had to fight Rodriguez, or maybe they had to fight Holland in a certain amount of time because maybe he wasn't active enough from that drop from 85 to 70. It took some time because they have to offer you 3 fights a year.
Well, Daniel Rodriguez looks like he's a 170 fighter as well because he's fought Kevin Lee, Mike Perry.
Has been for years.
Yeah,
but he might be coming in where he's taking this thing.
Johnny hasn't fought for a year, so.
Yeah, but that's my whole point. He hasn't fought for a year, and so he's a little heavy because he wasn't planning on fighting Kevin Holland on September 10th, but they gave him the opportunity. He says, look, I can make it to this.
This show is brought to you by MyBookie.ag. John, there wasn't a whole lot of fights to bet on this week, but Demetrious Johnson got it done, and what an impressive performance by him. He looked good. Started off a little slow, had to deal with the size, but MyBookie had some great odds on them. At MyBookie.ag, use our promo code WayneIn, that QR code right there that Podcast Dave is going to put up for you. Click that. That'll take you to MyBookie.ag, and our link at MyBookie.ag, use our promo code WayneIn. I think it's a good fight. We're going to see.
It is a good fight.
D-Rod is a stud. So that should be a good fight. Holland looking good. Looked like he's coming into his own at 170, man. I think he's found his spot.
Yep.
I think he's found his spot. So his body style is going to, he's going to give a lot of problems to a lot of these welterweights. I would have liked to have seen him versus Stephen Thompson.
Ooh, Kevin Holland and Stephen Thompson. That'd be a good one.
That'd be kind of a fun fight.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, next, what else you got for us?
I can't find my mouse here. There we go.
Jeez, come on, dude.
Junkie Reports, Vitor Belfort versus Hasim Rahman Jr. This is happening October 15th.
I love it. Oh, my God. Well, we'll see what happens. Well, Hasim Rahman was not able to take on Jake Paul for whatever reason that people want to come up with, but it had nothing to do with him not making weight because he was close to making weight anyway. So, this fight right here, though, is you look and you go, why? What's the point?
Money.
What's the point? What's the point, though? Is Rahman Jr. a fighter that people are like clamoring to see?
I didn't even know he was a fighter until the Jake Paul situation.
Yeah.
John, I don't know, John. The nostalgia for MMA guys versus boxers, I'm kind of losing it. It's not there anymore for me.
Nope.
There's fights that I would like to see, but they're not coming about. So I'm kind of losing interest. I see things like this. I'm like, it was fun when I got to watch, Derek Campos fight in that Dorito chip thing.
The triad.
I'm really loving Mike Perry right now, man.
Yep. I think Mike Perry in bare knuckle boxing is fantastic. I think he's made for it.
That. I'm looking forward to seeing Chad Mendes fight again in the bare knuckle boxing thing as well. There's fights to be had that I'm looking forward to. I just don't know if they're going to do the matchmaking that we would want them to do. But this fight, I don't know. I've lost interest in the Vitor Belfort thing for a while now, and but Rahman, I don't know. What are they going to fight at, heavyweight?
Yeah, I would assume.
Yeah, right. I mean, Rahman just made 206.
Yep.
He showed he made 206, so I'm assuming Vitor's not a big guy. He's not tall. He's not long. He's not lanky. He's not a big guy. He might be on the sauce again. So he might be. You're so funny. I love you. You woke up on the wrong side of the bed today, John.
I did not. I'm just being honest.
A little feisty
Look
today.
A little TRT. Come on, baby.
Yeah.
He's got no one testing him.
No, man. The allowed amounts. All right, next.
All right. Talking about matchmaking and all that. Darren Till says he's coming back and he wants to get 2 fights in before the year's out, before 2022 is out. I mean, we're cutting it fine here, but 2 fights and expects next year to be the return back on the title scene. What do you guys think about this?
First off, I love Darren Till's personality. I love Darren Till as a fighter. I think as a personality, he's fantastic. He's funny. He's got a ton going for him. He just seems to have right now, every time that he's starting to get ready for a fight, something bad happens. He gets hurt. He's getting that, almost the label of a little bit brittle, and he's not able to get himself to the fight. That's really what it's going to be. He's saying, I want 2 fights. That's great. Let's get one. Mm-hmm. Let's get one in right now, and not worried about getting 2 in. Get yourself to the show, get yourself to the fight, and let's see if the comeback is on. But he's a good fighter. And like I said, he's a personality. He's funny. He's entertaining as a fighter. So just get to the fight, man.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see who they're going to match him up with. I mean, is he fighting at 70 or is he back up at 85?
I believe he's still at 85.
85?
Yeah. The last scheduled bout was 85.
Got it. Yeah, so
70. He was dying.
Yeah, he was killing himself to get
170.
there. Yeah. So, I mean, if he's going to be at 85, who's he fight there?
I mean, it really depends. I don't think right now he's not in the rankings, so you can go in, anywhere within.
When was the last time he fought?
Well, he is in the rankings, number 9 still. There you go.
But I
So
think
do you have a fight?
I think it was. Let's see.
Talking to the mic, buddy.
I think it was at least over a year ago. It was September last year, so
Derek
it'll be
Brunson?
a year coming up. Yep.
Lost to Brunson and lost to who?
Whitaker.
Whitaker.
A year before that, over a year before that. So
Wow.
pretty crazy.
Yeah.
He's been not been active.
And then who else is in that weight class there at 185?
Oh my God, you
there?
got a ton.
Yeah. Hermanson, Strickland.
I would like to see him against Duplessis. That would be a fun fight. It would be good. I don't know if he'd want to drop down, fighting someone like that. But, Darren Till against Sean Strickland, that would be a fun fight.
I'd love to see that fight. Sign me up for that fight. Can you imagine the trash talking between those two guys?
Oh, dude, it'd be great. It'd be
Fucking
awesome.
amazing. I'd love to see that fight. Well, John and I are playing matchmaker over here. I think that's a great fight. Strickland and for his first fight back, though.
But Strickland's got a fight coming up.
No, I know,
right?
but I'm saying, but for Darren Till, his first fight back, that's who. Yeah. All right. I'll take it. Duplessis is a good fight, too. I'll take that fight. I'm tired of watching him fight grapplers.
Yeah, that's why if I was going to look and I go, both Strickland, and Duplessis, they're going to stand and bang with him. That's perfect.
Yeah, Paul Costa.
Yeah, Paulo's not going to be in that position, I don't think.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, what else you got for us, Dave?
All right. You talked about Sean Strickland. You talked about the trash talking. I want to get thoughts on this one. Josh, your homie Luke over here retired this week. Handed in his official notice to the UFC. Sean Strickland came out and made some, kind of controversial comments.
Controversial.
Like what? Yeah. What did he say?
You're telling me that Sean Strickland said something that was controversial? No way.
That is amazing.
Wow.
So let me read off the comments and then let's get your reaction to it. So Sean Strickland says, and you guys know,
I thought you don't read comments, Dave. I thought you don't read the comments. Go ahead.
At least it's my job. It's not your job to read comments. It's my job to read comments. Sean Strickland says, I'm actually glad he retired, man. You will not meet a human being that meets Luke Rockhold and says, man, this is a solid guy. I want to go hang out with him. Luke Rockhold is the definition of what an uptight C-word is, and I'm glad that I did not have to hear his name or see him in the MMA community. No one thought Luke was going to win. We all knew that. You guys fucking knew that. I knew that. Fucking guy is a champion. He does train. He wasn't going to win, but he's not a fucking can. You don't win a belt even if he did win at a very easy time. You don't win a belt and then fucking suck.
Well, he all over the place there.
But
John, I'm trying to figure out if he was able to put a full sentence together.
He got more than one full sentence.
Yeah,
they just didn't match up.
It was all run on. It was a big run on sentence that went everywhere. It's basically calling him a piece of shit, but then at the same breath, he trains hard but doesn't train. And anyways, look, Sean Strickland was supposed to fight Luke. The fight fell off. I think Sean got hurt, or no, Luke got hurt. Luke's back, I think.
Back got hurt. Yeah.
Yeah. And, that fight didn't come about. I would have loved to have seen that fight. I think, in my opinion, Luke would have beat him. That was a better stylistic matchup for him than Paulo Costa. To me, Paulo Costa, the explosiveness, the takedown defense, all that stuff, that was going to give Luke a hard time. Sean Strickland's not explosive. He's just a pressure fighter.
Fighter.
Yeah, I think had Luke got him down, he would have controlled the top position. Getting Paulo Costa down, we saw with Yoel Romero, is not an easy task. But overall, Luke's going to ride off into the sunset, continue to bang all these chicks and have a good life. And that's going to be Luke. Let Luke be Luke. Why talk about him now? Let him. Like, I don't understand. I don't get this. I don't understand the hate after someone's gone. Like, let him be.
I'm just gonna say it as simple as it is. Luke Rockhold was a world champion, 2 organizations. Until such time that you are,
Yeah,
have some respect for him. He did it.
that's true. That's true. I didn't. even think
Nothing
about
against Sean. I love Sean Strickland. I think he's a blast. I love watching him fight. There's no reason to get on somebody, in that whole thing. There's no reason for it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I just always tie up the UFC belt and the Strikeforce belt as him just being a champion. You have to remember who he beat in the strike. Like, Strikeforce had some fucking murderers there. Tim Kennedy, Jacare. Those guys were all studs back then.
Yeah.
Like, studs. And he was beating them then. He was young too. I don't know. I don't even think he was 26, 27 years old when he won the title. I think he was 29 when he beat Weidman. You know what I mean? So, like, he was a baby when he came over from Strikeforce, and he was beating guys like Jacare, who fucking was a fucking animal. And then Tim Kennedy, who was a fucking animal as well. So, I mean, he wasn't beating slouches over in Strikeforce. So he's like you said, 2 promotion champion.
Yep.
He's a stud. He's a stud.
Yep.
I don't know, Sean, man. Like you said, John, Sean, you got to leave him alone, buddy. Let him ride off.
Yeah.
Enjoy himself. All right, next.
All right. I don't know if you guys caught it this week, but Mike Perry was doing an interview, and he talked about training with Jake Paul, and he was saying that, like, when Jake Paul hit him, he didn't really feel the power of Jake Paul, or what he felt wasn't powerful enough to, like, cause him any concern. And he thinks, Mike Perry does, that he is the fight for Jake Paul now.
I don't know. Yeah, I remember watching the tape of Mike Perry and Jake Paul training, and then at the end of it, Mike Perry saying, "You whip my ass."
But wouldn't you say that if you were trying to get a money fight?
No, he wasn't trying to get any kind of fight. He was just being honest when he said, "Yeah, you whip my ass." This way, he was, it was sparring. One person was getting ready for the fight. One person was just in there to help with the sparring, that being Mike Perry. I'm not saying that Mike Perry can't beat him in a boxing match, but, it was, as far as, Mike Perry was honest at that moment because it's on tape. He's the one that said it.
How do you know he's been honest?
Why'd he say it, Dave? Just to sit there and say, "Oh, you whipped my ass"? Here, I want you to figure this out, Dave. You will never hear me say, "Dave, you whipped my ass." You know why? Because you didn't.
Because I'm never going to make you millions of dollars in a boxing match.
Because Dave can't fight. We know that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'll make Josh a few bucks because I'm more popular, but I'll never make John $1 million in a boxing match. If Jake Paul's going to make you $1 million in a boxing match, do you just tell him, "Hey, great job, buddy, you whipped my ass out there"?
Nah.
He wasn't getting a boxing match against him, though.
But it was forward thinking. Forward thinking.
Forward thinking.
Dave.
Here, let me spell this out for you. TROLL.
Yes, Dave.
You are
Dave.
A troll.
He's just trolling you right now. Problem is, he's pushing so hard. He's trying too hard to troll you.
I'm trying to remind you guys that we live in a different age. We don't live in the age of, like, where when you call somebody, you have to, like, rotate the dial to, like, get to number 9. Like, we don't live there anymore.
Good call on that one, Dave.
We live in the Twitter age, right, where you can just send your beef across the internet.
It's called a rotary phone, buddy.
Yeah, well, I mean, Josh, that's how new age I am. I don't even know that.
You don't even know what it's like, right? You don't even know why they call it hanging up the phone, huh? You just have to push the end button. That's all you know.
I
call
it clicking the AirPods.
I had a young kid ask me. He's like, "Why do they call it hanging up the phone?" I was like, "Oh, jeez." These kids, no idea.
They never watched the Bigfoot and Hendersons.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this. Bare knuckle or real boxing? I think Jake Paul would want it to be real boxing.
If it was bare knuckle, I'll go Mike Perry anytime. I think, like I said, Mike Perry is meant to be that brawling style that is a bare knuckle fighter. I think that Jake Paul going against him in that, not much of a chance. I think if you put the boxing gloves on, probably Jake Paul's going to be the guy. He's got, cleaner technique in the boxing game.
Yeah.
And he'll probably end up, just touching Perry up. Perry will go after him, but won't be able to land the big shot. But if it was bare knuckle, I'm going Mike Perry.
Interesting. All right. Well, I think Jake Paul is going to have the say. He's going to probably use the bigger gloves. He's going to want to have gloves. And so
Yes.
if Mike Perry goes over there, I think that's going to be a problem for him. But if they were to fight bare knuckle, I would go with Mike Perry also.
Yeah.
It's different, just different styles. Rough and rugged versus,
Yeah. You can hold and hit at times. It's a different style. It's the rules are different.
Yep. Next.
All right, let's talk about this next one. Again, making these fights. Stephen Thompson says he wants to fight Michael Pereira, and he thinks he could finish him. What do you guys think about this fight for Stephen Thompson?
I think it's a fantastic fight.
Yeah.
I think that's a fight that I would love to see. Michel Pereira is just he's an athlete and he's all over the place. But as he has fought higher competition, as he has fought better fighters, a lot of the ridiculous stuff has gone out. He's put it to the back. He doesn't pull those things off because they waste energy that doesn't help him win the fight. He wouldn't be able to do those things against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. But as far as a stand-up fight, I would love to watch Pereira against Wonderboy. I think that would be a great fight, a great matchup. And, and they were talking about putting Wonderboy against, Rachmaninoff. I think this is a much more interesting fight to watch than Rachmaninoff against Stephen Thompson. I think this is a great fight. I think Wonderboy is right.
I'd like to see Stephen Thompson and RDA. Well, because RDA came out and said, hey, I don't want to fight wrestlers anymore. I want to fight some stand-up guys. And then he wants to fight legends. He wants to fight guys that are older and, he wants those type of fights.
Hold on. What do you mean he wants to fight stand-up guys?
That's what he said.
That's what he says until he fights a stand-up guy and then he's taking him down.
I'm just saying that's what he said. Or Stephen Thompson wants to fight the stand-up guys too. I think that'd be a good fight though. But I like this fight too. Size might be a little bit of a factor because Pereira's a big guy for 170.
Yeah.
Stephen Thompson's tall, long, lanky, but he's not a big guy. Pereira's
doesn't have to
for
be
this weight. Yeah, Pereira's big for this weight.
He's long. Pereira's big.
Good.
Yeah, you're right. But I think it's I like this matchup. I think it's one the UFC should try to make.
Does Stephen Thompson get him out of there?
Possibly, but possibly not. That's why I want to see it. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see. If Stephen Thompson, then he's kind of where RDA is. The two of them are kind of in a certain place in their career.
Yeah.
Look, the title run's not there.
Nope.
Give me fights that excite me. Give me fights that really pump me up and want and get me to want to be there and be able to train hard.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
We see this with these guys.
This
Next.
be a good one.
All right, last one we'll wrap up on this beef between DC and Masvidal that took Twitter by storm this week.
I'm going to let Josh go because these are both Josh's guys.
So, George Masvidal, DC makes comments about Masvidal's place in the title fight picture now that Leon has won the title. There obviously is a story behind the Leon Masvidal fight, but there's more credential behind someone like the greatest Colby Covington getting the fight. So Daniel Cormier says,
did he really just slide that in there like that?
Yes.
Did he?
He's trolling. He's trolling you, John.
Just go wash your mouth out.
He's the number one fighter, John. Johnny's the number one fighter.
He's the number one fighter? No, he's not. No, he's not.
Did you not
No,
hear
he's not.
Till's son in?
No, he's not.
He's not even the number one fighter in his weight class.
Exactly.
Sorry, that's what I said. He's the number one fighter in his weight class.
No, he's not.
He's not. He's not.
Good.
He's not.
Good. Pull up the rankings.
Sorry.
Pull up the rankings, Dave. Pull up the rankings, Dave.
All right.
There you go. Oh, what is that? That's a number 2 by his name.
But
No, but
technicalities.
Dave,
Leon was number 2, beat Kamaru.
Just
Kamaru,
say it.
obviously. John,
Dave,
Say you were
just
wrong.
say I was
Dave,
wrong.
say you were wrong.
John,
Just say.
I don't go off what the media thinks.
Just say. Just say, John, I'm sorry. I was wrong. He's not number 1.
I don't go off what the media thinks. I'm just gonna leave it there. All right. Like you guys have expressed your feelings on the media.
This is what's wrong with the younger gen. You can't say when you're
John,
wrong. You just said he's the number 1 fighter. I said no, he's not. You
guys
pull up
said-
the rankings, and I proved to you he is not. But
John,
you can't say you're right. I was wrong.
But John, you guys.
That's
have
embarrassing
argued-
that you can't admit that you're wrong.
You guys have argued that the media sucks at putting these rankings together. So I'm just saying I don't go off what the media's opinions are. I go off of what the facts are, and the facts are Colby has won every single fight except the one against Usman. And so he is next in line.
Oh, you just said another thing that's wrong.
What?
What?
What did I say is wrong?
You said Colby has won every single fight except Usman.
Yeah.
No, he hasn't.
John, come on, behave yourself.
John, behave yourself. John, behave yourself.
Pull up Colby's record.
This is so fun.
This is awesome.
John,
I'm
I love
loving
watching.
you because
I love watching
you
this.
just have to do it.
Look.
That's a 3. Did you see the 3 by his record?
Yeah.
17-3.
And
That
who
means
has
how many
lost it?
times has he fought Usman? Twice.
Fought Usman twice. Yes. Okay. So
Okay,
he's
hold on.
Yeah.
Did you say he's undefeated besides Usman?
Yeah, but come on, man. Like he didn't even warm up in this fight in 2015. He hadn't even warmed up. Like it's like 4 minutes into the first round.
Okay.
You gotta give the guy a break. And then of course, like he slipped and broke his jaw in that one with Usman. So
He slipped and broke his jaw. Jeez.
I like it.
You're
you gotta
so
cut him some
great.
slack, man. The guy like he's beating everybody in the division.
Hey, I'm sure that Colby enjoys the fellatio that you are parting on him right now.
All right.
That's fucking great.
So Daniel Cormier makes a comment. George, you've always been the man.
do you pull your hair up in a ponytail so he has something to grab your head by?
Hey,
Oh, good day.
you know how short my hair is, but I do
Yeah.
have back hair.
Just grab you by the ears.
Daniel Cormier says, George, you've always been the man. Malik, stay off his page. I stand by what I said. Sorry, and that was after George. I know I'm reading this in backwards order here. You don't get unlimited title fights. Malky, beat Dorino, get to 1-3 in the last 4, and maybe get a title shot. See, Malky, now you got me disrespecting my friend George. That was in response to the first tweet from George. It said, guess you're still butthurt since I didn't do the interview you requested on your week YouTube channel during my fight week. I know you needed my name to produce some sort of view since Ariel went solo and you became a has-been. Just make sure when Dana calls and tells, and then it goes into tweet number 2, tells you to promote the biggest fight current champ can make in the division, which is me. Wear your best suit from DXL and make sure you do as you're told like a good boy. Maybe you'll get a treat from your master. So he's mad that DC made comments that he can't get the title fight based on his current performance.
Well, he's not going to get the title fight. So I don't know what we're having a conversation about. He's not fighting for the title.
He's not
Leon's
gonna
coach
fight for
and Leon's already came out and said no, he can get a win or 2 and then come and fight me.
Yeah.
And let's not be mistaken. Kamaru Usman's getting the automatic rematch.
Yes.
If someone deserves an automatic rematch,
as it's deserved.
yeah, it's Kamaru Usman. Now, if Usman wants to be out until the middle or late
fine.
next year, or middle of
different.
next year, that's different. Then
Then it
Leon
should
may
be
fight
Colby.
somebody else. Then it should be Colby, absolutely. So,
Even though Dave,
the number 2 guy,
Yeah.
not the number 1 guy, the number 2 guy.
number 2 guy, put him in there.
Yeah, he's actually number 3 because there's the champ. There's the champ, and then there's the number 1. So he's actually number 3. The beef between John. I don't even really have to get into this. Like, this is fun. People like to pick on DC because DC says a lot of things. Look, and people like to pick on Brendan Schaub because Brendan Schaub says a lot of things. When you're in front of the mic as much as you and I are, and as much as like guys like DC and Brendan and everyone else, you're bound to say something stupid. And so you're bound to say something. You're bound to say something that people don't agree with.
Oh yeah,
and that shit happens all the time. You can't make everyone happy. So for DC to continue to try to make everyone happy, and for George going to be obviously take offense because he knows that there is a storyline there. There is a money fight there. There's one to be had. I don't think it's going to happen though. While Leon's the champion, he's going to have to get a win. And I like George, man. George, he's one of my favorite fighters, and I like Leon as well. But to think that anyone's going to skip Kamaru Usman's going to get that title shot. And if he doesn't want it, it's probably going to be Colby Covington. But Colby hasn't fought since he lost. So he's got to get a win too. Oh, no, never mind. He beat Masvidal.
He beat Masvidal.
He beat Masvidal. You're right. So sure, you can give him that shot. I think it'd be real if Kamaru is not going to take that fight, which he says he's gonna, but he doesn't want to come back until whenever. So if Leon wanted to get a money fight in before then, he might want to try to get that Colby fight in. But I don't see Masvidal getting one. I don't see it. I don't think Dana's going to do it.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. I mean, you've got... Who sells more, Masvidal or Colby? Who do you think is the bigger draw?
From what I've been told on him, Masvidal.
Oh, wow.
He actually sells the higher numbers. But, it's not like
good for him. Good for him.
Yeah, it is good for him. But
He's been around
it's also
so long, John. He's been around so long. It's good to see. It's so funny how towards the end of his career he became so popular. He's always been a good fighter. Do you recall the fight he had with KJ Noons?
Absolutely.
Where everyone thought KJ was going to piece him up on the feet,
dude.
And it was one of the most brutally
he ate KJ up.
It was one of the most brutal beatings I've seen someone take.
Yeah.
KJ didn't even look like KJ. KJ was a good-looking kid.
Yeah.
He looked like the fucking Elephant Man at the end of that fight. His face, his lip was so swollen. I was like, holy shit. He just got destroyed in that fight. I don't really have anything else to say. This is just...
Look, this is what happens when, if you're DC... and you're sitting there as the guy. Look, you're one of the top commentators for the UFC. You're the third guy that's sitting there when they have a pay-per-view with Rogan. You have your DC and RC, podcast that you get to hype up on the TV or on the pay-per-views and stuff. You have your other things.
DC's also got another show called 3 Rounds, which, by the way, he stole from us. Which we have our 5-round main event.
The man has no shame, but he's
the golden fluffer.
He is the golden fluffer. But look, there's a lot of people that get upset with that, and they get jealous of it, and it's like, hey, don't get jealous of that thing.
No, you can't be.
No, just whatever you do, Daniel. Good luck to you.
Yeah, he's doing everything right, man. And people, they get mad because he is the golden fluffer. Because he knows what to say at the right time that gets him out of hot water. Let's be honest. Remember the time, I don't know who it was, the guy that beat Duran. What was his name? Phil Hawes. Started yelling at DC in the cage. Oh, you doubted me. He's like, look, dude, you didn't beat me.
You should have known.
Yeah, but you didn't beat me. You won a fight. Congratulations. But you didn't beat me. Well, and so the other thing is that those are things he's pretty good at de-escalating things. And he does, he gives people their due because he's the golden fluffer. But he says the right thing to get himself out of whatever situation, and it's hard to dislike him because he does it with a smile on his face.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of Chael. Chael can get himself out of a lot of heat because when you sit and talk with Chael, you can just see that he's a good person. You sit and talk, but when you listen to him on the microphone, you're like,
oh my God,
this guy.
He'll say anything.
He must be in fist fights all the time, on the streets. But then you see him outside, and you're like, oh my God, he's so fun. He's such a nice guy too.
He's a great guy.
It's just a lover's quarrel between these two. They'll make up. They'll kiss.
They'll make up. That's about the way I look at it.
Yeah. All right, Dave, anything else?
That's going to wrap us up for today.
All right. There wasn't a whole lot to talk about. The whole lot to talk about is pretty much a slow weekend. One had a great performance, great show. John, I did want to say one thing.
Yeah.
I know they went big on this first show. At least I feel like they did.
Yeah.
I want them to dial it back a little bit with the commentary. Not in terms of the commentary, like they have too many people. They had Chevalo there. They had
It's very strange when you have two play-by-play guys.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
Yeah.
And so there was that, and then I want to know if they're going to dial it down a little bit with the with the case walking out with the belt and all that stuff. But I thought it was good for them to do it the first time because they wanted to show they wanted to basically expose the world. This is what our title looks like.
Yeah.
And I thought that was good for them to do in the first show. I don't want them to keep doing it because that whole it gave me that WWE Money in the Bank kind of feel to it. I don't like that. I
wouldn't know that stuff because I don't watch the WWE. So
I only know because DC has
Dave.
this like suitcase that has like this sticker on it that says Money in the Bank, and he used to carry it into practice.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's a nerd. All right, hey, go to weighinginpodcast.com, pick up some of our merch. Also, hit that like and subscribe button down below when you're watching the show or during the show or before the show or after the show, whatever it is. But make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Share our show to everyone else. If you have any friends that are into MMA or combat sports, period, we talk about it all. Go ahead and send them our link and tell them to hit that subscribe button. I want to thank you guys so much for supporting us. And next week, we've got more shows, more fights, more shows, more fights. So let's go. John, take us away.
Let's go. For everyone out there, I am sorry that Podcast Dave cannot admit when he is absolutely wrong. Mm-hmm. It's just a character flaw, but don't worry about it. He's still a good guy. For everyone out there, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you.